Hey guys, welcome to a new video. So what a difference a few days makes, huh? In my last video, I was talking about the pain of some of my positions, some of my Bitcoin and crypto positions, mainly MicroStrategy and Coinbase based, as you can see here. But of course, as with everything, the timing of the video that I posted, as soon as I posted it, the market seemed to rally. Bitcoin was rallying quite hard. It went from 113,000. It's now sitting at around 123,000. So I'm just going to talk about this is the table from last week, from the last video. So I'm just going to talk about how the last few days have had an impact on these positions now, because we seem to be pumping. It's getting exciting. We're in October. So that's what we're going to talk about. But of course, before we do that, quick disclaimer, because I had that little issue on my previous video. So this is not financial advice. It's for education and entertainment purposes only. It's really just my thoughts as I navigate my own personal investment journey. And as always, all investments incur some risk and results are not guaranteed. Please, if there's one thing I can ask, please do your own research with these high income ETFs. That's the one thing I believe that people do not know enough about, and they're not doing enough research. Please do that. Okay, so let's get into it. So this was the positions in my last video. It's not even a week ago. It was like four days ago, basically. And I was down pretty hard. I was feeling the pain. Everyone was that's holding Misty, that's been holding Misty for a while. We're down pretty big, right? But then, of course, Bitcoin started to run from 113,000. It's gone up to, let's have a look. It is now trading at 124,000. So we've gone from, let's go from a month, and it has gone off from not even, when was that? 109 actually, up to 124. It's had a massive rally. So of course that's good for MicroStrategy. That's good for Coinbase. Anything Bitcoin crypto related, it's generally having a good impact on. So this was my position in that last video. I was down 38%, 39% basically on Misty. I was in the red for everything. But what does it look like now? Well, I'm in the green for COIW. This is the Coinbase one from ROUNDHILL, and I love the ROUNDHILL ETFs because they are 120% leveraged. They give uncapped upside, as I've talked about before. I love that. My issue with YIELDMAX is I wouldn't call it NAV erosion, because it does tend to be based on what the underlying stock is doing. If MicroStrategy is going down, then Misty is going down. But the YIELDMAX ETFs do struggle to recover more because their upside is capped. If MicroStrategy goes up 10%, then Misty's only going to go up 6 or 7%. And this is the thing that I've talked about before that I really don't like about the YIELDMAX ETFs. So I love MSTW, I love COIW because they are ROUNDHILL, and they're the weekly pay ETFs. They have 120% leverage, and there's uncapped upside. Meaning if Coinbase goes up 10%, then COIW is going to go up 12%. And that's what's been happening. Coinbase has been an absolute tear for the last week or so. Let's have a quick look at Coin. And look at this. This is what a yearly chart, but look at that. We're almost up to the highs that we're in when we had all that great news about stablecoin legislation and just crypto legislation in general. And now look, we've gone from 300 up to 380. It's massive jump for Coinbase. And so to capture that, ROUNDHILL are able to essentially capture that, all that upside. And so we've gone from, I was down 10% on my COIW1 position, and I'm now up 4.79%. So I'm now in profit from a NAV perspective, from a share price perspective. I'm in a unrealized gain of $2,200, but I've also been accruing all those distributions and dividends over the past weeks and months. CONY, it's gone up. So what was it before? Down 23%. Now only 14%, so not bad, but of course it's capped, so it's not done as well as COIW. Misty MicroStrategy hasn't done as well as Coinbase over the last few days, but it's still done well. I was down 39% on Misty, now 34.2%. And MSTW, that does better because it's obviously uncapped. And so I've gone from 25.5% down, so 16,000 down, to, I've gained 10%. Look at that. 25% down to now being just over 15% down. So 10% in not even a week, it's gone up. So my unrealized loss has gone from 16,000 to $10,000. So my position was in an unrealized loss. My total from these four positions was an unrealized loss of 83,000, and it's now gained 20,000 in just a few days. And we're now only down in the red $60,000. It's still really bad. It's an awful position to still be in, but things are looking good. Bitcoin is pumping, and we are in Uptober. Michael Saylor himself said, "Happy Uptober." Everyone in crypto and Bitcoin is talking about Uptober. Even Bloomberg the other day actually broadcasted it live on TV, that we've entered Uptober for Bitcoin. And why is this? Why is everyone talking about it? Well, it's based on history. Historically, October has been a really, really good month for Bitcoin in the past. As you'll see here, there's only been two Octobers in the past, 12 years that Bitcoin has not gone up, and the average average increase in price for Bitcoin in October has been 20.5%. November, also a very bullish month, 46% averaging increase. So this is Q4. This is why a lot of people are bullish on Q4. There's liquidity coming into the market. Another two interest rate cuts apparently are coming from the Fed. Lots of macro bullish sentiment. So it looks like we're going to go well. But knowing my videos, if I post this now, we'll probably have a large correction on Bitcoin. MSTR will probably tank a little bit. Bitcoin will probably tank a bit. And this will be completely irrelevant by the time you watch it. But hopefully not. Hopefully we're good. And we have a really good October, because history and some of the environment, the global liquidity, M2 money supply is absolutely pumping. So that is playing into this as well. The ISM is getting a little bit better. So things are looking good. Interest rate cuts are obviously a big thing too. So looks like the risk on environment is getting better as we go from Bitcoin to the large caps to the smaller caps. It looks like there will be an altcoin season. Obviously, this channel is not about crypto and altcoin season, but it looks like we're getting into that type of environment. So not a crystal ball, not financial advice. I don't know. I'm just a guy behind a computer. No one knows, but this is just based on my research and my thoughts. All right, so it's looking good. I mean, look, to be down 83,000 one day and then a few days later be down 60,000, it kind of plays into the sense where I've been DCAing down into this. So this is the Coinbase stock. It was coming down. You DCA, you're buying your CONYs, your COIWs, your MSTRs, your MSTYs, MSTYs, all of that good stuff. And let's just have a look at MSTW, because let me just do it over a month. See, look at that recovery. Let's just look at the percentage of that. And we've gone in the space of just over a week, September 26th, over 20% recovery. So if you were smart enough to really buy this dip when MicroStrategy was down in the kind of just under the $300 mark, and you were buying MSTW or Misty or whatever, then you would be sitting pretty happy about now. If you weren't already in it and bought at the highs where most of us have, like if we go to Misty, and this is also what I want to talk about as well, is like what is going to happen over the next few months. Because if you look at this on a year chart, it does, like, the recovery is like nothing, right? If we look at it over a month, MSTY has obviously got capped upside, so it's not doing such great upside as MSTW, but we should still get to a decent share price, like $20-25 maybe. If we look at the year when we had the last bull run, or even longer, it went from $19 to $43. Now, I don't think that's going to happen again. I can't see that kind of boom, because MicroStrategy went from like $100 to like $400-500. So that was almost a 4x. And that's not going to happen in my opinion. I think we might get MicroStrategy. Let's just go to the MicroStrategy chart and have a look at that, because the underlying really is the most important thing that we want to be looking at, and what's going to happen there. So look, my MSTR in last year, when was this? September, was down around $118. It went up to $470. So what is that? I mean, this isn't going to happen again, but that was a good bull run. Like 300%. So that's a 3x. It went up 3x. This is what's happened now. We're just coming into Q4. Similar time, by the way, September, October. Look at this, October. This is how good October was last year, coming into November, and then it peaked in November 22nd. Now we're coming into Q4. There's a lot of bullish momentum, bullish sentiment, macro factors that are looking good in everything that I've just mentioned previously. And so this could be the start. Do I think it's going to do another 3x? MSTR is going to do another 3x? No. But I think we could get to the 500, 600 mark. So maybe a 2, just under 2x, maybe a 2x if Bitcoin goes really well, if we hit the kind of 200K mark by the end of the year, which a lot of experts are saying we might hit. And what does that mean for MSTY and MSTW, or these other high income funds? Well, it means that MSTW will do very well. I'll definitely break even on my position. It will do really well. And that's why I'm thinking I might, on MSTW's ex-dividend date, which is today, so Monday is Roundhill's ex-dividend dates for its weekly pay ETFs, is that I might actually get into it. The problem with MSTW is that its distribution for this week was not that strong. Let's have a look. So we did have Roundhill distributions, and MSTW was 40 cents. It's not very good. So 40 cents will come out of the share price of MSTW, and so could potentially buy in, a bit lower, just under the $34 mark, and try and get that, and then try and ride the upside of MSTR more than you would capture with MSTY. And so I'm just debating whether I rotate a bit of my MSTY position into MSTW to try and capture that upside that we've already captured, right? So I went from 25% down to being 15% down, and I think that this will hit break even, not fairly quickly, but it definitely will get to that point. And then it's, if I put more into it at this lower point, kind of DCAing into it as my average cost basis at MSTW comes down, I'll then be able to make even more money. And that's just my thoughts around rotating the positions from, it's not selling MSTY to just get out of a MicroStrategy ETF. It's just to rotate from MSTY, which is capped, into MSTW, which is uncapped, which is leverage, which will have a much higher or better upside in a bull market. Now, when it comes to a bear market, which I think will happen maybe from mid 2026, who knows? No one knows when the bear market's going to hit again. But I think the Roundhill ETFs, because they're leveraged, they look to achieve that 1.2 times return on the underlying. I think they will really struggle. I think they will get smashed. So I think there will need to be a change of strategy when we go into, when things are getting super frothy and the euphoria of Bitcoin and crypto is really high. I myself will be looking to get out of MSTW and COIW, because I think when it hits that euphoria point and then starts to go down, these are going to absolutely tank. And so there will need to be a change of strategy. So that's just my thoughts on this. But it's great to see that things are looking up for Bitcoin, for crypto, for Q4, and that our positions are getting better. I'm glad I didn't sell my position last week and get out, because look, it's already started to turn around. We're starting to look positive again, and I think the MSTW dividend for next week will be really strong. So I might wait for that a little bit and rotate even more from MISTY and MSTW next week on X dividend date, because I think it will be really good, because obviously there's delay in how they pay their income. It's not as soon as the upside goes and then they pay based on that initial performance. There's a bit of a delay. So I think it will be really strong next week, and I'll probably look to get into it more next Monday, which will be X dividend date for this and this guy. So just my thoughts on that. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you're holding MSTW or MISTY still, if you're buying more in at this time. I still think there's a lot of opportunity here, as we're in October, and Q4 looks to be very good for Bitcoin and crypto. All right, I'll leave it there, guys, but have a good one and see you in the next one. Cheers.